Good morning, children. We have started with chapter 2, Nutrition in Animals. And in that, we have started with digestive system in humans. In a previous video, we have discussed digestive system in humans and the first part, that is mouth or the buccal cavity. We have discussed the types of teeth, functions of tongue, salivary gland, secretion and function of saliva. In today's video, we are going to cover other parts of digestive system, that is esophagus, stomach and small intestine. Coming to esophagus or the gullet or the food pipe, commonly called food pipe. The esophagus is basically a simple tube-like structure which starts from mouth and ends in stomach. The function of gullet is to pass the food from the mouth to stomach. No digestion takes place in food pipe. The food is being pushed into the stomach. And how it is being pushed? By the movement of the muscles of esophagus. Coming to the second part, stomach. Stomach is basically a muscular bag-like structure which is present in the lower abdomen. And stomach has an important role in the process of digestion. First of all, because of the continuous movement of the walls of the stomach, the food is being churned and grinded so that it changes into a paste-like material. After this, the stomach secretes some digestive juice that is called gastric juice. Now this gastric juice has three components and this gastric juice plays a very important role in the process of digestion. Now the components of gastric juice are HCl, enzymes and mucus. Now coming to the function of HCl. The function of HCl is to make the medium acidic. If this medium is not acidic, then the process of digestion will not take place because there are some enzymes which work only when the medium is acidic. One such enzyme is pepsinogen, and this enzyme pepsinogen is responsible for the digestion of protein. Now, coming to the enzyme, we have already discussed the enzymes which are responsible for the digestion of protein mostly are found in gastric juice. Now, children, coming to mucus, what is the function and about how does it look like? The function of mucus is to form a protective covering on the wall of stomach, because I have mentioned that this acid is a mineral acid, a very strong acid. pH is about 2.1, and this strong acid can even burn the walls of the stomach. So there should be some protective covering, and that function is performed by mucus. This mucus forms a protective covering on the wall of the stomach so that the stomach is not burned out and the wall is being protected. Now sometimes we experience a condition called acidity. Now what is this acidity? As we discussed, stomach produces HCl. So when this HCl is produced either in large amount or in less amount, then the pH of the stomach decreases, that is, it becomes more acidic. Such a condition is called acidity. You might have experienced this condition when you are fasting or when you are overeating. In both the conditions, when it is in excess amount or when it is in small amount, the condition when the production of HCl is not balanced, that condition is called acidity. And you know that if to cure this acidity, we take Gelusil or any other antacid. Now, the process of digestion takes place in stomach. Now, what happens once the food is being digested and changed into a paste-like material? The food from stomach now passes to the next part, and what is that? Small intestine. Now, if you see, small intestine is basically a long tube-like structure whose length is about 6 meters. When we compare it with large intestine, The length of large intestine is only 1.5 meter. Now the question arises that why we call this a small intestine as a small intestine though it has a length of 6 meter. Children, it is because of the thickness of the tube. When we compare small intestine, it is a very thin tube-like structure, or you can say the cavity or the lumen. It has a very narrow lumen. When we compare it with large intestine, it is a very thick or a broad tube with a big diameter. So because of the diameter of the tube, we call it small because it has less diameter, and we call it large intestine because it has more diameter. Now, the parts of small intestine, the first part which starts from the stomach, it is duodenum, and then the curved part, that is the jejunum, and the last one is called ileum. Out of this ileum plays a very important role in the process of absorption. You know that absorption means the important nutrient will be absorbed by the cells of the body. So that function is performed by ileum. Now, how this part is responsible for this? It is because the inner wall of the small intestine is folded in the form of finger-like structure which are called villi. So this is actually the inner wall of the small intestine, which has a large number of folds, and these folds are called villi. These villi are richly supplied with blood vessels, and these why they are being folded? So that they have more surface area. This folding of wall of the small intestine gives the small intestine a large surface area so that it absorbs a large number of nutrients. And we say that the process of digestion completes in the small intestine, absorption and assimilation of nutrient also complete in the small intestine. Only thing is that from small intestine, when it moves to the next part, that is the large intestine, only the absorption of water will take place. So children, I hope the topic which we have covered today clear to you. Today we have covered esophagus, which is basically a food pipe which does not play any role in digestion, just pushes the food forward. Then we studied about the stomach, which is a bag-like structure and main organ responsible for digestion. Then we studied about the small intestine, where the absorption of food material take place by means of finger-like structure called villi. I hope the topics are clear to you. Now you are going to observe our PPT and observe it very carefully, and whatever doubt you have, you can clear it when we meet in our next class. Thank you.
Good morning, children. Today we are going to cover topic digestive system in human beings. Under this topic, we will cover three organs of digestive system: esophagus, stomach and small intestine. We are going to study the structure and function of these organs. Coming to the first part, that is esophagus, which is commonly known as food pipe or gullet. Basically, it is a muscular tube-like structure which starts from the mouth and opens into stomach. And it is the first organ in the digestion process, but as such, no digestion takes place in it. It is just a muscular tube-like structure. The function of this esophagus is to push the food into the stomach. This pushing of the food is done by the movement of the walls of the stomach, and this movement is known as peristalsis. So when the wall of the esophagus contract and expand, then the food is moved from the upper part of the esophagus, and then it comes down and then it gets collected in stomach. Coming to the next part, let us discuss what is the structure and functions of the stomach. Stomach is basically a J-shaped muscular organ which is located in the lower abdomen. It is the most important organ of digestive system. Most of the digestion takes place in stomach. Now, to bring about the digestion in stomach, there is the secretion of gastric juice. Basically, gastric juice is a mixture of water, HCl, electrolyte and organic substance. The gastric juice also consists of 97.99% water. Remaining amount consists of inorganic salts and organic components that include mucin and digestive enzymes pepsin. Now let us discuss what is the function of HCl. Basically, HCl is a mineral acid. As we already discussed that the function of the stomach is mechanical digestion, and that is brought about by the churning of the walls of the stomach. So to bring about that mechanical digestion and to help in the action of enzyme, there is a presence of a mineral acid called HCl, and it is a very strong mineral acid having a pH of 2. The function of this HCl is to kill any bacteria or microorganism which is present in the food. Beside this, it also makes the medium acidic for the working of the enzymes. Basically, enzymes, proteases or the enzymes which are responsible for the breakdown of protein. One such function is the conversion of enzyme pepsinogen into pepsin. Then let us discuss what is the function of this mucus. Mucus forms a protective barrier. Because of this high acidic, that is hydrochloric acid present in the stomach, there is a possibility that the acidity of this stomach can burn the wall of the stomach. So this mucus forms a protective layer and protect the stomach from self-digestion by pepsin. It also protects the stomach from any mechanical injury as it provides a lubrication or to the walls of the stomach. Now coming to the next organ, that is small intestine. If we look at the length of the small intestine, it is about 6.7 to 7.6 meters. That is about 22 to 25 feet. It is a highly coiled, long, convoluted tube which is present in the central and lower abdominal cavity. Then if the length is 6.7 to 7.6, why we call it a small intestine? It's because of the lumen. It is a very thin tube which has a very narrow lumen. Because of that only it is called small intestine. Now this small intestine is basically the region where most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place. If we look at the diameter, it is about 2.5 to 3 centimeter, whereas the length is about 6 meter long. Now coming to the parts of a small intestine, it has three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Beside this, the wall of a small intestine has many finger-like projections to increase the area of absorption, and these are called villi. Singular is called villus. We will discuss what is the function of this villi in the next slide. Now, coming to the functions of a small intestine. There are two main functions of a small intestine. First one is digestion, second is absorption. When we talk about digestion, then 90% of digestion occurs in the small intestine. That is, carbohydrate changes into glucose, which is the simple sugar, protein changes into amino acids, and fats, they change into fatty acid and glycerol. That means the process of digestion complete in small intestine. Now comes the second function. What is that? Absorption. So for this absorption, the wall of the small intestine has many finger-like projection. These finger-like projection are called villi. And these finger-like projection are responsible for increasing the surface area of absorption. And as you know that the more the surface area, the more will be the rate of absorption. So here also these will increase the area so that more amount of absorption of food takes place. Now coming to the intestinal juice, it is the secretion of the gland which are found in small intestine. The other name of intestinal juice is succus entericus. Basically it is a clear yellow color watery secretion which is produced from the glands lining the wall of a small intestine. Now this intestinal juice which is secreted by small intestine completes the process of digestion of carbohydrate, protein and fats mainly in the lower part of small intestine. Thank you children. Keep watching.